Jai Shri Ram. GRE essay topics on history, there are many. And one of the topic goes like this. The study of history, has value only to the extent that it is relevant to our daily lives. Now, I am a GRE verbal trainer. Daily I conduct classes online and offline to help students get a good score. Now, if the speaker's statement is to be taken as the gospel truth, then my question would be, what is the use of the study of the struggle of so many people who sacrificed their lives and gave us independence? Why should I? Why should I study about Indian history or world history? My job is to teach GRE students, train them in English vocabulary which is relevant for GRE. There's a lot of English vocabulary not necessary for GRE, so I don't even bother about that. I do a lot of research. I've been training students for the last 23 years now, and I have a huge collection of books on GRE. Every possible publication by any company, I buy it. So I have done enough research on the vocabulary that you are likely to find on the GRE verbal test. Now I don't even bother about words which are beyond the pale of the GRE, beyond the ambit of the GRE. So I am sharply focused on my job. Now, seriously speaking, all the study of history has no contribution to my daily life. My daily life is concerned mainly about facilitating excellence in the GRE test taker. Now, of what use is the study of world history or the history of kings and the independence struggles and all the great events in history to my GRE student and to me? None. Zilch. ZILCH. Zero. That is clear. Now, does it mean that I should stop studying history? Absolutely not. So, now let us take another example. There could be a doctor, a cardiologist, who is a very busy surgeon, who has to conduct operations every day. Now, is it necessary and useful? Of what use is the study of history to this doctor? If he is going to perform so many operations every day and saving lives, is the study of history, world history, Indian history, American history, or the lives of great figures in history, freedom fighters, great kings and great people who brought about great reform, and intellectuals, scientific thinkers, so events in history, are they useful to this man who is a cardiologist? The answer is no. Is the study of that history relevant to the daily life of a cardiologist? Or a teacher of mathematics? Or for that matter, anyone other than a professor of history or a student of history? No. Now, if it is not, it has no value, it has no relevance in the daily life of almost everyone except the teacher of history or the student of history. Do you mean to say that is sufficient reason for history not to be studied? No. So, the speaker takes a ridiculous position. Of course, don't use strong language when you are writing essays. I am just trying to stimulate your thinking so that you can ask these kind of rhetorical questions. You can probably write in your introduction the way you want to write it, present these ideas. What I am trying to get at is very simple. We study history for many reasons, and in fact, it would be almost ridiculous to suggest that we have to study history only to the extent that it has relevance to our daily lives. So, so that is a downright untenable proposition. It doesn't make sense at all. Why do we study history? So, our position should be we can actually reject the statement outright. Remember, all these topics are debatable topics, but sometimes you may find a topic which can be rejected outright. History has to be studied irrespective of whether it has relevance to our daily lives. That will be the first sentence I am going to write. History has to be studied irrespective of whether it has any relevance in our daily lives. Full stop. However, much of history that is being taught in schools and colleges is merely description about the birth of kings and the wars they fought and when they died, which has absolutely no didactic contribution or no edificatory value. Full stop. Didactic means instruction. Edification means moral improvement. Therefore, the content of history or the very purpose of teaching history should be scrutinized so that students don't end up memorizing meaningless statistics which has no contributory value to their personality. Full stop. So that's my introduction. So in the introduction, what I am saying is, how did I start my sentence? The study of history has value even if it has no relevance to the everyday life of people. So history is studied for various reasons, and its relevance in our everyday life has perhaps never been a consideration for the study of history. So, second paragraph. Now, that is introduction is over. The same introduction, if you paraphrase, that is your conclusion. Now, your first paragraph will be, now let us look at some of the important reasons why we study history. The most important reason I think we study history is to simply satisfy our curiosity to know how people lived in earlier times. Full stop. How our ancestors dealt with the problems, and also to learn not to make the same mistakes which our forefathers made. So this is the contributory value of history, to prevent us from making the same mistakes that our forefathers committed. Full stop. If you look at how entire nations fell prey to colonizers, we will learn important lessons about how to deal with intruders, interlopers, trespassers, and sleepers, and all these people who, like viri, VIRII, the plural of virus, gain entry into the body politic and then subvert the entire system and subjugate the nation, exploit it. And to overthrow these criminals, 200 years of struggle has to be undergone. Entire populations are decimated due to their looting and exploitation. If you take the history of India, there are sufficient examples throughout the world which will give you enough reasons to study history. So paragraph marustu undali. So second paragraph. You see, The colonial powers during the Middle Ages we include UK, England, France, Netherlands, the Dutch, uh, uh, and who else? Holland. Holland and Dutch are the same. So Belgium and some other European nations, they were busy colonizing using their military force. And incidentally, United Kingdom, UK, is a small country which is about 2 lakh 55 square kilometers. But they have colonized India, which is 33 lakh square kilometers, and sucked us dry for 200 years and looted us for billions of trillions of rupees, nearly 3 trillion if you read Shashi Tharoor's book. This is what the British did to us. And at any given time, the number of Britishers in our country was around 20,000 and our population was about 400 lakhs. 400 lakhs. It is an irony of history. If a few of the 20,000 Britishers who looted us and exploited us could have easily been killed, even if the people decided to throw stones. But we allowed them to loot us and rule us for 200 years. So, the lesson here for every Indian and for every citizen of every colonized nation is to be very wary of non-citizens, because they don't have the sentiment of patriotism for that country. And these people cannot be trusted. You have to be extremely wary. Vigilance. Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Thomas Jefferson. Israel. So you go on writing next paragraph. Now let us explore other reasons why we have to study history. In fact, every academic discipline has its own history, so that we will learn who were the pioneers, what were their thinking, what were the theories which have led to the current state of development, so that we can build on that. And besides that, history also gives us insights into the nature of people and their cultures. So, how people of a particular culture have behaved throughout history and how they have evolved is a very good indicator which will help us predict how these people would contribute to human society, humanity. So we cannot shy away from certain facts that people of certain nations and certain cultures are very intelligent, and their contribution to the growth of humanity and growth of science have been extraordinary. The first example that comes to my mind is that of Israel. Israel is a very small country which is barely 21,000 square kilometers. But out of the nearly 500 Nobel Prizes, they have garnered 180 or roughly 200, maybe, let's round it off. So, no nation, no country in the world which is so small, just 21,000 square kilometers. 1/5 the size of Telangana. Telangana is 1,11,000 square kilometers. And Israel is 21,000. And Israel is a superpower. And people of Israel have garnered 200, close to 200 Nobel Prizes. Show me one Nobel Prize in Telangana. Yeah, we have such a great history. We are 5 times bigger than Israel. What is our contribution to world GDP? Nothing, zilch. We are begging, borrowing. Why? Because of the culture that we have allowed. Our culture has become so degraded. Alcohol, drinking, watching filthy movies, wasting time on social media. This is what our kids do. And what are our elders and political leaders doing? So, it is a very sad story. So, what should we learn from Israel? Every Israeli is a millionaire. every Israeli is also required to join the army. They have conscription there. So Israeli girls cannot be teased because each girl is as good as a commando. Whereas here we hear every day girls, subjected to all kinds of violence. And girls themselves are also uh, carried away by the fashions which are promoted by the film industry, which I call kachada wood. The Bollywood, I call it kachada wood. Those khans and all that. These bloody gutter rats, these scumbags, and these gutter snipes, uh, these pigs have promoted this kind of raunch culture. Hmm? And our kids are watching that. They love these movies, the dances. They wear those wretched, raunchy clothes, display their anatomy on the roads. This is what is happening. So, how can we achieve Nobel Prizes if this is the state of our culture? So, and if we study our culture over the last 1,000 years, how much have we evolved? See, I am digressing and I am going at a great length on this, but I think you must understand my whole purpose of talking like this is to stimulate your thinking. This is how you have to think. You should come up with some original ideas. Why do we study history? Why should we? The point I am trying to elaborate on is the study of the history of a people will give you an insight into their nature. And what can we expect of such people whose culture is like this? Unless some great reformer comes and completely changes everything, we will continue to degrade. Isn't it? It is a sad state. Look at our colleges. What kind of education? Huge colleges. Students can't even speak a few lines in English. Unfortunately, English, whether you like it or not, English is very important. So, if you can't even converse in English, what is the use of your engineering degree or your medical degree? Because even in India, English is so important. And look at the attitudes and complacency, laziness. They are not willing to do any hard work. And what are the professors doing? What is the ambience in the college? Do you have an intellectual environment? No. Look at the college culturals. In any college, if there is a cultural function, all kinds of dirty, raunchy dances from films. Is that our culture? That's not our culture. And they call it the culture industry. These rascals in Kachada Wood, they claim that they are the icons of Indian culture. No, they represent the worst of Indian society. They represent the gutter of Indian society. And in all our colleges for cultural functions, you will find filmy dances. All the girls and boys will do some popular dance from some cinema film. They will all practice for hours together. They will spend a lot of money. They will buy costumes and dance. And is there any value behind that? What is the sentiment in that dance? Nothing. That's not culture. That is a debasement of culture. But are they willing to listen? In fact, people will get angry if I talk like this. So you see, as they say, if you try to rescue a wild animal which is trapped in a cage, if you try to rescue a wild animal that is trapped in a cage, then the first person it will attack is you. You are trying to rescue the wild animal, but it will attack you. That's the nature of people today. See, people today I wanted to play shuttle. All of them are drinking. All my so-called friends, they are all busy drinking. Now, it is compulsory almost every day they drink. On Sunday, they have to drink more. Now that they are young, they will probably get over it. But then, alcoholism is a primary, progressive and terminal disease. It will destroy your brain cells. Your brain will shrink because of alcohol. It will destroy your internal organs. And that is why by the time people reach 40, maximum 50, they have all diseases in their body. Now, Bhagavad Gita, Vedas, if you study, they will not recommend any such tamasic foods, no alcohol, no beer. You can enjoy life better without all this. Actually, true enjoyment is possible only when you are healthy, not when you drink, not when you eat all this meat. Meat eating is not good for health. It's very simple. Besides the moral aspect, if you look at the scientific aspect also, meat eating is not good. But still people eat because they have got addicted to eating meat. Every Sunday I see people standing outside buying mutton from Muslim shops, and the Muslim, they cut the goat or chicken using the halal method, which is the most inhuman method. The animal suffers lot of pain, psychological and physical, and a lot of hormones get released, and that meat is toxic. And this is scientific. You can watch TED Talks, you can go to YouTube. Meat which is obtained by halal method is toxic. That's why people have thyroid problem, all kinds of problem, but still they will eat. Now people are so arrogant, they are not willing to listen to anybody. Why is our culture like this? And why are the Israelites progressing? Is it not a serious question which we should consider? Why are we not like Israel? We are 5 times bigger than Israel, and Israel has only one river, and their soil is totally barren. Our soil in Telangana or Andhra, for that matter, take the whole of India, it is so fertile. We have so many rivers, but we are not able to feed our people. Why? And with just one river and soil which is not fertile, they are able to produce yield 10 times that of our farmers, and they are able to export also. Only 21,000 square kilometers. Telangana is 1,11,000. Telangana is 5 times. India is 33 lakh, 32.8. And what is Israel? We are importing technology from them because they have 200 Nobel Prizes they have acquired. And in future also they will acquire. Every Israeli home has books. They get up in the morning at 4 o'clock. Every Israeli gets up at morning 4 o'clock. They will go to their synagogue. They will do their prayers. They will study. Whether it is weapons technology, science, in every area they are in the forefront. Should we not learn from them? You should go to Israel. People go to Singapore to enjoy and get some diseases. Thailand they will go. Hurry, make a trip to Israel. Stay there for 10 days. Watch them. Learn from them. How the state of Israel was formed in 1948. Only 19. It's a very young nation, small nation, and it is surrounded by nearly 10 Islamic states. There was a war some time back, some 10 years or 15 years back. 7 Islamic countries attacked Israel, and it defeated all of them. 7 all at once. Small nation. That is why I have great admiration for people of Israel. They also follow the Bible, the first 5 books of the Bible. Now anyway, I have digressed a lot, but I hope you enjoyed listening to this. So why do we study history? Why should we study history? We can study history to understand the culture of people, and that we can use to extrapolate how these people will behave in the future also. I don't want to name the countries, but look at the Middle Eastern countries. They are going from bad to worse. You can't even name them. If I name them, people might file cases against me. What contribution are they making? In fact, the oil that they have, oil reserves, they don't have the technology which is used to extract the oil from below is Israeli technology, Swiss technology. So they have not even produced technology to pull out. The day the oil is over, then these nations, that is why people of Dubai have become very smart. They have completely turned to tourism, because they have understood oil will be over and hybrid cars are coming. So how will you survive? So they have turned to tourism. So if your nation, if your culture is stuck in the past, how can you progress? So there are many lessons we can learn from. See, people of Israel were persecuted from all over the world. Only India. In fact, when Israel was formed, the first resolution they passed in the Israeli cabinet was an expression of thanks for India, because India was the only country which treated the people of Israel with respect. We did not persecute them. We Hindus don't believe in persecuting anybody because we see Rama in everyone. They thanked us. Israel are our natural friends. We Hindus are still being persecuted even in India. We are third class citizens in India. Hindu religion can be ridiculed. Bollywood movies, will they dare to ridicule Islam and Christianity? No. Our temples are still looted by the government. Does the government touch churches and mosques? No. You can go on examining how many laws are Hindu phobic. There are so many laws. Right to Education Act. We cannot teach Bhagavad Gita in school, but they have schools in which they can teach Islam and Christianity. Why? So if you look at our country, we are still slaves. We are bloody slaves. So what can we learn from history? I think what we Hindus have to learn from history is we have been passive too long. Now, with the arrival of the Ram Mandir and our Prime Minister Modi ji, there is a resurgence of Hinduism. At least future generations will be different. Unless all of us become assertive. I am not saying we should become aggressive. We should be assertive. People should think 10 times before ridiculing us. So, there are so many things we can learn from our own history. And that may not be relevant to my everyday life. I am a GRE trainer. All this which I told you about Israel, is it relevant to my daily life? No. But it has so many contributions to make, isn't it? So, the very idea that history is valuable only to the extent it is relevant to our daily life is irrational, totally unreasonable, untenable, and cannot be accepted. So, I gave you some reasons as to why we study history. One, to satisfy the curiosity, to know how our ancestors lived, how our forefathers lived. Two, to avoid making the same mistakes which they made. Don't allow a mad dog into your house. You cannot allow a viper. If a snake enters the house, you cannot say it's a small snake, let us sleep along with that snake. You can't do that. That's what we have done. And we have suffered, we are kind of still suffering. We have a 80% majority Hindus, but we are still living like minority in our own country. We are the bloody slaves in this country. So, what have you learned from history? So, we can learn the nature of people. We can learn about how cultures evolved. We can learn about how academic disciplines evolved. You can also extrapolate. If this kind of a culture continues, we will only continue to produce more idiots. Every society should aspire to produce Albert Einsteins, not terrorists, not Osama bin Ladens and Dawood Ibrahims. We should try to produce great scientific thinkers like Homi Bhabha or Swami Vivekananda. How many Swami Vivekanandas are we able to produce? How many Vikram Sarabhais? How many Abdul Kalams? How many Homi Bhabhas? How many great thinkers and scientists? J.C. Bose. How many are we producing? We are producing jokers and idiots who are only consumers, who are parasites, whose contribution is zero, but they celebrate their birthdays. Normally, when people celebrate birthdays, I ask them, is there one good reason why we should celebrate your birthday? What have you contributed to mankind? Forget mankind. Have you made your own parents happy? Have you made some useful contribution to your own family? No. Why are you celebrating? You should actually weep. Your birthday should be a day of sorrow. You should sit down and cry that you are such a useless fellow, you have not made any useful contribution to anybody. Why should we waste any more money on your birthday? It's a serious question. I might sound People may get angry and they might think that there is something wrong with me. But think carefully. Am I not asking a relevant question? Yes. This is how we should bring about change. How much happiness do you produce every day? Ask yourself. Every interaction with every person, you should find a way to make that person happy. How many compliments do you give every day? Sometimes a simple compliment can change a person's life. But we don't give compliments. So, my dear friends, why do we study history? You can also learn about how great battles were lost. On the verge of victory, battles have been lost because of some stupid policy or stupid move. And how to deal with situations. So there are so many lessons from history. Jai Shri Ram. Write an essay, post it on WhatsApp. I will go through that and then I will forward an audio feedback file. So writing is not an easy skill to develop. You have to write a lot, because eventually in your career, much more than speaking, writing is important. So if you are not even practicing your speaking, I don't know when you will start working on your writing. You have to start today. Get up in the morning like an Israelite at 4 o'clock. Start doing something. Get up, run. If you are going on sleeping, ठीक है, you will get a job, you will get married, you will earn some money, no doubt. You will have children, you will watch, you will buy a big TV and a nice car, all that will be there. But so what? What useful contribution are you making as a human being? Think about this. Jai Shri Ram.